Hello, I'm Aarnimetsa from Aarnimetsa.com, and this is a stream about my redemption project, Project Phoenix. And as you can see, these are the 336 games I have been able to play before today. So this is day 2, and my aim is still to do it in a week. But on Project Phoenix, I started the bankroll at $150. Aim is still going to be the same, $1,000 like the previous project. And you can read all about the previous projects on pokermania.com. And so the previous project was abruptly ended during our last session, and this time everything looks nicer to start with. And because it looks this nice, we are going to have a special treat today. I'm going to play my first 3.5s today on stream. So we'll start. And 3.5s will be 9 maxes. I think that we can get enough 9 maxes to get the session going. So I'll start up the games, and I'll actually move this tracker here, so if I need to look through it at some point. So I have added the I have added all of the new games to the to session lord so that it knows what to register, and I'm trying to find space where I can hide the or see the bankroll myself. So now I'm starting to go to the mode where I'm looking for my bankroll also all the time. And the first game that I'm seeing that's starting at 3.5s, it includes 5 guys already that are regs. So probably not going to play that game. I'm going to try to aim when I'm at the edge of the bankroll. I'm trying to aim to get really good games out of 3.5s, and then I don't need to take the worst possible games. If you have any questions on the project, on Hypers, on Poker on Life, please send them in. I'm watching both of our chats, the Pokermania chat and the Twitch chat. We are going to do only 9 maxes today. I think that when we are at 7s, we can do 6 maxes as well. So, but probably when we are going to have a project stream, we are going to concentrate on either 6 maxes or 9 maxes, but we are probably not going to mix the games. And we can see here that I'm quite close. So when I start my next session, I'm going to get the next step. It's going to be 40. It's going to be 40 points away. So if I'm playing just 1.5s, it's going to take me something like 70 games to hit the bonus, and I'm not going to take more than $12.5 of that bonus since it was already 75% done when I started this project. So in this project I will only have earned the 21% of that bonus, so I'm going to only add the amount to the bankroll that I have earned. Yeah, everything seems to work fine now, and I hope that everything continues to work fine. Well, 3.5s, we can see Danita, that's having a similar project, and I don't know what he was doing, but he was at the 1.5s with me yesterday. And that was quite sick as he's almost at 600 bucks already. So I don't get what he was doing at 1.5s. I'm just happy that he was gone for today's session, since it's going to drop my RO. If I'm going to play against the top reg that Danita is, it's probably going to drop my ROI for something like 1 to 1.5%. So I'm really happy when I don't need to. Kaleon asks how it was possible to copy hands from PT4 for HRC Quick Analyze. You'll need to export hand histories from a hand report. So create the hands report. That's actually we might be able to do it on stream as well. So go to my reports. If you don't have a report saved, create a new report, hand report, and you can select here how many hands do you want to have, and you can also select that. You can also use any kind of filters here, but then you just select the hands you want, or you can Control A to select all of the hands, or you can shift and click and then it selects all the hands in the middle. And then in here there's export hand histories. When you press this button, it asks the hand history file to save, and then just locate the hand history file, and you don't need to save the summaries. You can just press cancel there. The summaries are not required. But if I'm going to, I can show it here, like save to here, and this is test. Let's save this one, and we don't require summaries, so we go cancel. If you are sending hand histories with like PT4 to PT4, you'll pretty much always want to. When you are sending hand histories from PT4 to PT4, you want to include the summaries. But if you are sending hand histories to HRC, has absolutely no use for the summaries. It doesn't know how to use the tournament summaries, so we don't need to bother with it. And good evening to Unteritokki on the Twitch chat as well. Good evening to Kauris and Kaleon. Nice to see you here again. When a guy is sitting out, we'll need to open up our ranges in the cutoff by quite a lot. Like basically, this cutoff now becomes a button when there is one player sitting out, and we are going to, especially if it's not completely button as there is still one guy in position, but it's the ranges are going to be closer to buttons ranges, and like now the ranges are going to be closer to cutoff ranges. How Mao? Why are you doing this to me? Basically just had to fold the ace 10 there against an unknown player. I don't think that unknown players are going to. And I was already scared, like I'm watching the latest players winning and done. And I was like, it's going to be Danita again at 1.5s, but nope. It was another copycat or. Well, I can't know anything about the PokerStars betting since in Estonia PokerStars is only licensed for poker. So there is no sports betting. There's like no sign of sports betting in my software, and also no sign of like money transfer icons as well, since those are things that PokerStars doesn't have license for Estonia. Like if they would have the money transfer option, they would need to have like banking license or something. And as they don't have it, they have just gotten rid of all of that, so. Unteritokki. Yeah, I prefer English during the English sessions, but it's okay. I'll probably translate to English if there is Finnish posts on our chat. And Kaleon said that, oh well, it's probably again about microgaming's different hand history formats. I think that the hand history format should work when you export the hand histories. That should be working in. If it doesn't, I can talk to you on Skype later on and see how the hand histories are differing with the export hand histories and the. Oh, we have our first 3.5. getting hyped already. So we are adding the first 3.5s to this project, and it's the first level up. And I don't know yet. I think that at first I'm going to just add the best $3.5 games. So going to game select quite heavily in those, and I think that should also be quite. Oh, it doesn't work even with the copy paste with single hand. Have you updated the latest version of HRC? Might be that you need to update to the beta version, since I think that I have seen on some of their HRC's changelogs that they have changed the import, or they have updated import, and I don't remember, was it microgaming or party poker, or what did they add or fix, but that might help with your problem. So we can actually take a look at the 3.5 lobby if we are quick enough. So at $3.5 lobby, if we win the game, it's $14.91. So it's like adding almost 10% to our bankroll. And that's quite nice. So we hope to win it. We are in it to win it. And we are going to be quite quick in dropping down also if something happens. And I wonder if PokerStars, the cashier window, is auto refreshing, or do I need to script something to auto refresh it like every minute or so? Let's get the 3.5 to have the prime time spot here. So we can see that there are some people, like Dich is a guy that we have already seen on the 1.5s. He looks like a solid reg, and then there is Danita. He looks like a really really annoying reg. I don't know why he needs to be in my games. Even though I probably registered later than Danita is trying to get the games running, so he's the first one to register. Unteritokki says that that's quite interesting to see that it works even if you remove your sports bet after the tickets have been credited. I think that might be a loophole, that if you are abusing that kind of a loophole, I think that PokerStars might catch onto it and might void the winnings. So I probably wouldn't recommend doing that. But if you are betting on like two outcomes, or if you are safetying the same bet at another site that has a better, if you are having a safety bet on other side too, so I think that it should be something like you are losing with, if 10 bucks is required, if you are safetying it up with another bet, I think that it should be somewhere around like 40-50 cents that you are losing if you are keeping it smart. But I think that's something that PokerStars probably doesn't like if you are deleting the bet. I think that they are quite customer friendly in a way that uh, if customers can have like, and they are using technical ways to avoid getting hustled. But this might be, they are not yet a sports betting company or a great sports betting company. So okay, he shoves. We are out of there with 6-7 suited. But it would have been a really nice hand to start with. And now that we have a late game here, I think late game is going to be more interesting. This is also something that if he shoves, it's going to be better for me if I limp, even though that's also something that we could discuss pretty much all of the options here. I think that the equity between limping, min raising, and shoving is going to be quite similar, but the average pot size is going to be by far the smallest when we limp. So with limping we can, even though it's probably not going to be or it's going to be close in equity, but when it's the lightest in variance, I think that that's the one that we want to take. Uh, it needs to be a bluff like 1 in 3. I don't think that it is. And I don't think that our 7 of diamonds is going to be enough there. It I probably would have called it if we would be the one to end the betting, but if we call and then the other guy behind us wakes, there's a bit more risk involved. Okay, let's get the 3.5 in the stack. Unteritokki says that he made 70 bucks with this system in a day. That's a good tip. But I'd probably recommend going it with the safety bet approach. And if you have like 7 of those bonuses, those are almost risk-free money. And when they are like $3 and $1 tickets, they don't take forever to convert as well. Like if you play only 2 tables of spin and goes, you can still convert the tickets in like 15 minutes. So the hourly rate with that kind of bonus is quite nice. I think that's a good tip. And probably something that's recommended, that if you are getting those bonuses, take advantage of those. And yeah, of course, need to win spin and goes sometimes, but I think that even if you are like minus 30% in spin and goes, like you are complete ruler, I think that that's still a way plus EV promotion. And when there are spin and goes, you can also win really big, but like even a minus 30% player probably wins like $6.5 on average per one of those bonuses. So, and of course, like PokerStars knows it, that this is probably a promo that they won't make money in, but they'll get people to try sports betting. If people like sports betting, they don't need to do it a lot, that PokerStars will get their money back. And they will also make people to try spin and goes. And if people like spin and goes, well, spin and goes are their rake machine for PokerStars now, and those are probably going to be the optimal games for PokerStars to make you play, so that you are converting on average most of your money into rake and good publicity for PokerStars. So that's kind of a win-win for them. Even if they are losing some money to get people interested at the first place. We are getting pretty much exactly the odds we need here. If he shoves, it's going to majorly suck. Well, he's still getting us priced in. We are drawing to the idiot end of the straight, so we are not that happy. And of course, when there is also like, if there are 3 in a row, that's also making it harder for us to. But we had like a backdoor draw of spades, and then we had open-ended straight draw, and we were priced in with the draw because opponents bet so small and there were multiple opponents in the pot. So now we have two 3.5s already. already running, and I'm probably trying to aim for something like I'm reserving something like 5 slots to 3.5s to start. So when I'm playing 20 games, I'm trying to, like, I'm having 5 slots for 3.5s if I have good ones, and if I don't have good ones, then I'm just running 1.5s instead of them. And when the bankroll grows, then we are of course adding some. Need to check sometimes how often the PokerStars bankroll is updating. And yeah, true, we like to call for even the idiot end of the straight when we need to use 2 cards and there is no single card straight possible. Like, if there would be a queen on the board, then it would be a completely different ball game. Okay, we are getting it in. If he has an 8, well, that's nice. But he limped here, so... Well, turning the queen 9 into a bluff with a sizing that will pretty much never make me fold anything better. It's playing perfectly into my advantage, and I like opponents that play perfectly to my advantage since I like money. So I'd say that was well played for him for taking my part in that, or taking my part in that into account. So liking it. And there has been actually a lot of discussion in the Finnish forums in one blog in like, how do you think about playing against, how can you play against guys that are playing almost anything, and like, even if you get money in with pocket sevens, but there is 3 guys that are having, like, even if you are having the best odds but you are winning most of the time, why does it feel so bad? And that's also something that poker is probably the only sport where people are saying, but the opponents are so bad that I can't beat them. Even though when you are thinking about it a bit, you know that it doesn't make that much sense. And Callion said the check shoving 2-7 is probably best in my opinion. I think that it's going to be slightly better to. I think that it's going to be slightly better to take it one more street. That we are going to, of course, when opponent likely has at least 1 overcard, it's going to be problematic. But I don't think that there's going to be a big difference on average in, like, if we check shove the flop with deuce 7 or just check call. I don't think that there's going to be a lot of difference. Crap. We are like twice the size of the smallest stack. So this is going to be a horrible game, since I pretty much already know about the game plan, and the game plan sucks. And in 3-way pots, 8-3 off just plays so badly when we are almost guaranteed to have 1 bigger pocket pair in a 3-way pot. So let's not take part into a pot that will result in a sucky situation for us. We get it in quite nicely, hoping for no king. Okay, I think this is the first heads up. Well, this sucks. Wow. Uh, Player like to play against opens, unknown shoves. We have pocket nines. We are going for it. And now the pulse goes up when I notice that it's a 3.5. This is the fun part of the projects. You are like, you are not having a lot of money involved, but you are still having the excitement that even if you are playing, like even if you are playing pretty low buy-in games, you are still getting the excitement that. Did I screw that one up really badly? I had the ace deuce, and was it the game where there was the small stack? If it was, I'll need to. I'll probably need to. No, it's already. No, that wasn't the hand that I was looking for. Strange. Perhaps it hasn't imported yet. Yeah, the bubble has already burst, so no fall done there. I just noticed that the player names, like usually when I'm playing stacks, I have started to learn like different ideas on how do I know this some game, and I try to remember like what color was my hand when I need to do a special occasion. Is there someone with a certain kind of avatar on the table? And that's one thing that why I don't have an avatar on the table, since that would make me more recognizable, and having an avatar on the table would probably make it easier for my opponent to play against me, even though it's a small edge. But let's see. Oh, he had pocket kings there. Trying to hide our stack size a bit, because it would be great if our opponent would fold. Like, folding would be the biggest mistake our opponent can make. Thank you, thank you. And trying to do it again. Again, folding is the biggest mistake our opponents can make. Thank you. And we are back to having quite a nice stack size, and now we are going to flip for chip lead pretty much. I think that this is still a plus EV call for what we know about our opponent. Even though our opponent stood there with a better hand. Okay, let's see the farthest ahead, or let's see the 3.5 that has gone the farthest. And we are just $10 away from removing the 3.5, so the 3.5 hype might be pretty short-lived. We'll see. Hoping to score some money finishes in those, but if I can't, then I'll go back to 1.5s and grind my way back up again. I think that if I'm polite, they might be carrying on with their nice donations. I don't say that I wouldn't make money in these games if there wouldn't be any like straight up donations, but the donations make it easier. Like when people are really having problems. Actually, this is probably not plus EV against Varimut. Would be plus EV against, I think, a lot of other opponents, but Varimut is quite of a special case. Not going deeper into that yet. Okay, we are having top pair flush draw available and opponent shot for 3 times the pot. This is actually what I have said about the 1.5s. This is. I have seen that with top set as well, that people are shoving the 3 times the pot when they hit the top set. But in that case, there is like a flush draw available. There is some weird straight draws available, and oh wow, blind versus blind with quite horrible hands. I don't say that it's. I'd say that with regs, it's like I think about one third of the reg population is going to still be profitable to shove 9 dues off there, but I don't think Vadimut is one of those guys that it's going to be profitable against. But this is something to adjust, and I'm probably a bit too calling machine still for these games, that when I have when on the higher stakes people are bluffing more, then being a bit more calling a bit more will exploit the opponent's mistakes, that when their biggest mistakes are going to be betting too much, and in these games I might have been uh, 2 bronze stars. Like, even if you don't know anything about your opponent, that you know like only that opponents are bronze stars, that's even that's even information, since if you are playing even these games and you are bronze star, you can't be a reg, since nah, wanna shove, don't wanna shove against Danita, because I know that if I shove, he's going to make the loosest call there, and then I'm going to then I'm going to think again that this is not the way that I wanna go out. So I think that Danita will just call me with a range that will make it an unprofitable spot for me to shove 8 big blinds. But those over shoves is something that I think that's quite of a big difference between 1.5s and like $15 games. That you don't see those over shoves that much in $15 games, but in 1.5s you'll see at least one over shove where you are the other party, like I'd say 1 in 25 or 1 in 30 games. But then it's also a question, like we have seen those over shoves with medium pairs, flush draws, straight draws, and we are going to be in really good shape against the flush draw or straight draw. So, and also when we have a king 10, we are also in a pretty good shape against every king and every mid pair. So, just the guy had pocket queens. It shit happens, but luckily it's funny shit. So, okay, the ship has sailed, and no 3.5s going to load in a while. So this was pretty much the first shot at 3.5s. Might be that we are reopening the 3.5s quite quickly if this game goes deep, since this is 3.5 in the bubble. I think that one Poker-Imanian has been cursing me today, at least. Because I think I have been both running really good against NXP Ninja, and also I think I have been owning him quite hard in the games, so this is a bit nasty. Not even a bit nasty, but a lot nasty. Okay, Vadimut calls with ace-9, and that doesn't even worry us since our hand is so good. So first 3.5 in the money. Mm, wait. Wait, what? Uh, Okay, the max of per type should be defined, but I'm still having like 5 4.3.5s running. Weird. Heads up against Danita. That's going to be pretty awesome. Terskast said, Aarnimetsa, do you ever play MTTs? Quite rarely, I must say. I just don't have that much time to do those, but I have promised to do an MTT session, so there will be some MTT action to be had later on. And Unteritokki says, I don't like category that Bronze Star is a bad player. I don't say that Bronze Star is a bad player, like I'm not marking the guys already when they are Bronze Star. But I'm just saying that even when you don't know anything about the player, you can know, like, is the name familiar from the forums, for example? That might give you an idea that how good of a player an opponent is. That do you like if you recognize the name from some blog, it's probably going to be a better player. This should have been actually probably a flat call. We are calling for a split, basically. I just thought that it's going to be majorly split since opponent hasn't bet the turn when the flush came through, but well played for him. That also might have been that the river should have been a bet fold, because it was quite thin to try to value bet the straight on the river anyways. But Unteritoki also, like, if a player is Bronze Star, I know already that he can't play a lot of these games, so there is something that, like, he might be good. He might be a reg that has just started, but it's unlikely. And on the other hand, like Gold Stars, it doesn't tell pretty much anything, like opponent, or if it's like 1.5 as an opponent is Gold Star, it might be that opponent is, with quite the high likelihood, opponent is a reg. And why is that? Because you are going to require like 4,000 games to get a Gold Star at 1.5s. So that's going to mean that you pretty much need to be a reg or a serious player to achieve the Gold Star. There, and it's going to be less likely that opponent is having big leagues at 3.5s. Of course, if we are looking at Gold Stars at, let's say, 15s, where it just requires something like 800 games, then it's going to be that Gold Star is not going to be that impressive in there, since the amount of games required is a lot lower. Now run good, run good. No run good against Danita, so he's taking the monies there. But like, even if we don't know something, it doesn't mean that, like, even if we don't know something, it doesn't mean that we can't deduce something about our opponent. I think that we are going to be fine here. We are going to have enough equity, even without an overcard. Enough equity, check. Running well enough, nope. Oh well. Plenty of opportunities to come. Plenty of opportunities to come. Good evening, Neo. Nice to see you here. And today's session is going to be pretty much door limited. My mom is coming to Tallinn, and when the door hits, then I'm going to stop registering and ending this stream. But we'll see. And as and Kaleon said that supernovas are always grinding 1.5s. Yeah, just the old joke doesn't work anymore when people are asking that what does supernova do at 1.5s, since there is no supernova elite to be ground anymore. So you can't grind higher than supernova anymore. That's quite sad. I like the joke. Okay, we have the NXP Ninja in our sights. And of course, also, like, the different games are having the, in something like Hypers, it's so much about volume that you'll know, like, if an opponent can be a reg. But something like MTTs, it's not that much about volume, and there might be that even good players are being bronze stars since they are splitting their game in so many different sites that, and usually MTT players don't rake as much. Like, it will be really hard even if you are trying with MTTs to make supernova in stars if you are not playing the highest buy-ins available. And Kauris asked that, can you continue your stream tonight? No, I'm probably going to, like, if I'm still feeling awake when everybody goes to sleep here, I'm probably going to try to do a session of something like 200 300 games. Especially as now everything seems to work quite nicely, so yeah, let's just get money in when we are having the top set. Ouch, ouch. Well, that did take some wind out of my sails. And now, like, our opponent has pretty much the failed flush draws in his range. He has bet small twice already. But it's the third time he bets. I think that he's going to have a 3 here. Even though, like there are so few 3s available with the actions that happened there, but still I think that it was the by far the most likely is going to be that there's either a better jack or a 3 that my opponent has rather than something like a flush draw turned into a bluff. I think that in general, when people are betting 3 streets here, they usually mean business. If it if it would be mother-in-law, then it's going to be a different question. Generally, I don't like holding streams when we have quite an open house, and this is like my office is in a room that there is like no air vents, so pretty much can't close the door. So generally, I don't like to do streams when there are people around. People around in here, so probably I would anyways stop the stream. And then there is Caleon's comment in löysä mulkku as crushed hero. Yeah, can't do anything about those limp dicks. And there has been a lot of discussion in our Finnish board on guys that are loose idiots, basically. But the word is limp dick, since loose and limp are basically they are the same. Like, that's also that's going to be too meta for me to try to explain now. And Danita survived. Okay. Some hope, some hope. And Daniela takes it again. Starting to feel like a team. Uh, Unteritokki says that there are some interesting players who have Supernova. Yeah, there are some players that I have marked that these are players that I want to play against even though they are Supernova. But they are really rare. Like I probably have marked like 300 Supernovas in my games, and like 2 guys are guys that I want to play against. And mostly it's about that they don't know ICM and they are mainly like cash players or MTT players that don't know SNGs and they don't know the SNG mathematics to be effective in the games. But like 20 adjusted big blinds open push from 8 max 45 man final table with pocket trees. Basically the 45 man final table, I think that it's not only about adjusted big blind, but it's also about average big blind. And I think that the average big blind can be low enough that you can shove like 20 adjusted big blinds with 20 adjusted big blinds with the the pocket trees and be quite happy with it, even when it's UTG. Like I think on average it's going to be something like 6 or 7 big blinds on average, and that's going to be quite generous. And with those kind of an average stack sizes, pocket trees is starting to feel like quite a good option, especially when pocket trees basically means that we are going to add a lot of fold equity when it's going to be in an exact bubble. And Terscasta says that the thing I like about MTTs is that sometimes you really hit big multiplier for your buy-in. Yeah, that's going to be the main draw for MTTs, that you can win big. And I think that it's also that probably makes the MTT streams a bit better as streams, since those MTTs are still having, like if you have a bad MTT night that you don't get deep in any game, I think that that's probably the suckiest poker stream there is. But you don't need to have more than one final table, and the stream is probably more interesting than pretty much any other type of poker, since all of the games like that are going to be stories. But Unteritokki said that open put was from UTG and he is almost out if he loses. But if he's almost out if he loses just against one opponent, the one opponent can call him like 5% of the time or less in that spot. Might be like 3% as well. And when opponent can call just that amount of a time there, might be a spot where it's still going to be, especially if opponent is a bigger stack there. Like if he's only almost out, then it's going to be like pocket trees starts to sound even like a better shove there. But probably unlucky for your opponent that you had pocket queens, since then he has a really bad equity against you. Out of all of the 3.5s, and we got like two min caches out of the 3.5s. Wasn't worth all the hype, I'd say. Oh, wow. Minus 72% of ROI for the 3.5s. Not exactly what I would expect, but... And Neo has asked that if you have weak topper and opponent min bets 2 streets with flush draw precision, would you ever re-raise him? Isn't he getting there cheap when we just call? Depends. I don't think that we can only put our opponent to a flush draw, and I think that we are playing better against most of his range that he bets in these games if we are calling. Even if but among his range that includes flush draws, even if that some of that range will have cheap cards to include cheap cards to hit the board, but then I don't think that all or most of his range in that spot is going to be just flush draws. Caleon said that's still running bad in every buy-in that starts with 3. Well, when I looked at that the last time, I think that for this month I'm like 120 buy-ins under EV in total. So not really that happy in my run at any game right now. Should be okay to just shove it here, even if we don't, even if we never get folds, it should still be good enough hand to shove here. Even against 2 aces, since we are okay. My stars crashed. Now it's a spot of oh crap. Trying to oh crap as quickly as I can. Okay. Bing, 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 bing. Lost the game at least. Lost Session Lord as well when PokerStars crashed. I'd say that right now things aren't going up to plan. Yeah, as I said earlier, that I updated PokerStars and Session Lord like yesterday night, that I had one problem that I tried to eliminate. And could I eliminate the one problem that I wanted? No. Did I get new problems? Yes. So I never like updating if I don't absolutely have to, since I know pretty much my stuff what's going to happen. Okay. Now PT4 is acting up, so pretty much all of my poker playing stack is acting up, and this is a nasty spot, like probably ace queen suited or ace king suited we could call here, but with ace 9 suited, just no chance. A really awesome spot for NXP Ninja, since we are on the blinds with our big stack, and probably with ace 9 suited, if this Kluchnikov would have called last hand, we would have had enough equity to call him. Trying to start the PT4 again, then trying to get the registrations going, so a nice cascading effect. And this is something that I have played like 20 tables for multiple times now, like for 3 or 4 hours, and PokerStars has never crashed. But that was a straight up like boom, just the gray screens everywhere. And just coming the 5k stars coins, yeah, but I'm going to only take 12.5 of those stars coins, $12.5 from those stars coins. So since I haven't earned, I have only earned the 25% of that, so trying to keep the project honest. So when I have earned only the 25%, I'm going to only add 25% of that to the bankroll, and when we get the next one, I think it's going to be 5k or 5.5k again. Don't remember. The stars coins are between a mystery and a good joke, and I never know what's it going to be. What's the time in the left chat box or info box? That's how much time there is going to be for the next blind level. And this is really important at some points where there are going to be like a bubble where you aren't going to be all in against your opponent if the blind level doesn't come up. But if you can see like it's only 5 seconds for the next blind level, then you can just move the table aside and play the other tables and wait for the blinds to increase before getting your opponent the opportunity to have a moment in the blinds. And Kauris asked that Queen Jack off call for the bubble. Yeah, we were the smallest stack there. NXP Ninja shoved with pretty much any two range there. So against any two range, we should be like 57% ish. And so like we can't just fold and get in the money there because the opponent to our right side had already doubled up on the previous hand. So just had to call with Queen Jack off. In a way, that's one of those spots that is not like it's not intuitive for sit and goes. Shit. Random guy, 2 flush draws. Trip force already available. Looking so weak, looking so weak. Actually, I probably should have called with the... I would have called if I would have like king 10, but king 4 I just thought that it's not going to be good enough. And also like the info box in here is that how many tables do I have running, how many decisions I have running, and if I take my time with the decision, like how many decisions am I close to time banking. Like now it says the beeps to me, and after the beeps are happening, then it moves to like this is requiring urgent action. And this is sometimes that I can see like if I see that this is 20, this is 8, and this is 5, then I know that now I need to move in those tables, and now I need to act quickly. And mainly it's just this is the fastest way for me to see how many tables are open. Oh, it was king queen 4-4, so whatever kicker you have doesn't matter. I think then it was a screw up with with king 3. I should have called there. Since I'm going to be tying again against all bigger pairs, if it's like something weird like jack 10 ace jack or a flush draw, like there are 2 flush draws open and I'm in really good shape. So I should have called with the king 3, especially when I'm drawing against everything else than if I'm having a draw against pretty much anything else than an ace king. Ace king is pretty much the only king that where the kicker matters. Donita asks that is this a good session? No, this is not a good session, and there hasn't been light in this. There hasn't been light at the end of the tunnel. Pretty much that I had my chance for the 3.5s, and for the first 12 3.5s I lost like 10 buy-ins in those games, so pretty much that doesn't matter that much that how good of a run I have in the other games. Like this might be a really good run in terms of This might be a really good run in terms of buy-ins, but in terms of money, this will never be a good run. Depends, we still have time. Door hasn't opened, so not stopping now and hoping to hit the next bonus quite quickly. It's not only a hope, it's going to be a reality in quite soon. 98% complete, so like 20 points required. That's like 30-ish games. Oh! Shit. Knocked my coffee. And Deia is out, so need to improvise a bit here. We'll be back really soon. Crisis averted. Crisis averted. Everything goes according to plan. So there is no liquid catastrophe anymore. Trying to find the trash can as well. Yay! I'm successful at cleaning up my own mess, so at least I'm doing something right. Yeah, I'm playing 1.5s now only, so if you are going to be there after if you see me outside of these sessions there, feel free. It's fun to see Pokerimanians in the tables, and now I think that it's also going to be among the cheapest opportunity to challenge me if you want, since at 1.5s in 1.5s it doesn't cost a lot to play against me right now. And yeah, coffee misclick. You know, on the Pokerimania smileys, the coffee cup is always full, and that's something that I want to replicate at some point of life, that there's a coffee cup that's always full. Or perhaps I just need to brew coffee that's so horrible that you don't want to drink it, so then you would have an eternally full coffee cup. But and mainly I'm running these coffee cups that are like almost flat, and the cup is really stable, so pretty much can't screw the cup or can't throw the cup completely over, but still you can have some liquid catastrophes if you just bump into those. And I'm playing both 6 maxes and 9 maxes when I'm outside of these streams, and probably I should do some 6 maxes at some point. Probably at the moment where I'm having a more solid bankroll, I'm going to try to do the only 6 maxes. But when I'm having the when the bankroll is at the edge, I like to keep it to 9 maxes, since I think that the ROI should be the highest. Pretty nice when only 4s per outs for him or her. Dah. Dah, dah, dah. This is kinda nice, but kind of not nice. The hand is nice and all, but when there is another like, the big blind should almost always call me, and I think that he would need to fold something like 60% against my 3 big blind shove. And now I don't need to worry about it, since Miss Bellamy is going to get all in. And I have calculated that Miss Bellamy is going to get all in before me anyway, so should be nice. I ended the registrations prematurely. Nice! We get money. Money is always nice. If he calls and he folds, we are going to get to have like a chance to triple up our bet in that opponent opportunity, and this is pretty much the only crappy opportunity when both of these guys call. I think it's so rare that it's going to be a really good shove, even though normally on those cases you probably don't want to shove with the 2 small cards even if they are suited, since there are going to be so many times that opponents are going to call with those stack depths, and those hands are not playing well even when we are approaching the 100%. Yeah, hold the paper on the table at all times. Then you can also dry your tears when there is no justice and fairness in the world. But nah. I think I'm those kind of a guys that if you are starting to prepare yourself for a catastrophe, you are inviting the catastrophe towards you. This is also interesting spot when we folded here. And why do we fold here even though we have a good hand, is that first of all, there are going to be opportunities that opponents are going to get eliminated before us, and also if the big blind or small blind get eliminated in that hand, that are the most likely opponents to get eliminated, we are going to skip big blind, and if they both get eliminated, we are going to skip blinds altogether and get the button for ourselves. So that was a nice spot. Actually, nope, it was in this. If this would even be suited, then it could be. But now we just want that this guy wins, and then the other guy, the purple guy, gets eliminated, and everything goes nicely. Probably going to be. And this is when we are having the bigger stack. We want to go all in here when half of our stack is already in. don't get it completely why this guy wanted to shove with 7-3 off. Don't get it. Maybe I need a breaker. Maybe. Nah, when we needed to isolate so big, I think that we'll need to go there, even though I hate the hand. And our opponent tried to shove even with a worse hand. Nice, I guess. If these two guys would understand the situation, this would be a shove, since the small stack in the table will increase our fold equity so much. But when there is a wild card and there's a player I want to play against, or there's a good customer and there's a wild card, then I don't think that it's going to be, since their ranges should be quite tight here, and I think that the wild cards are going to have. Danita said I lose a bit today too, $50 so far, so it will be hard to finish project today. I think that it's something that there will be side steps in the projects always. There will be hardships. Not as much as there has been hardships in my previous project, or but I think that there will still be hardships. But minus $50 is pretty much it's nothing. It's nothing at the moment, so you can still have like I think when I have seen you at nights, I think that you can still have like 300 or 400 games and turn it around. And again, if this guy would know what he's doing, then this would be a shove. But when he doesn't, then I'm going to. Some might say that I'm playing scared there, but I'm just playing smart. When if he calls too widely, we are both going to lose, and I don't like losing money. Ace 4 off on the bubble with the wildcards and micro in the BB. Not worth even limping from cutoff. Limping might have made sense there actually. I think you are right there that limping could have been a good play, especially when there are two wildcards, so they might give the smallest stack some more chips, and when we are the middle stack, we are practically only afraid of the middle. And if either of these guys would have called, then I think Ace Queen would have been a call, but now, nope, nope, no call there. And Tanita, am I going to say that you are not going to get double-digit ROIs every day in hypers? Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to say. But if you are playing this kind of a project, like if you are playing 2000 games, it's still completely possible to win 200 buy-ins in 2000 games, or 3000 games to win 300 buy-ins. So you can have double-digit ROIs even in hypers for quite the long periods of time. If I would now go to a McDonald's, I would order an unhappy meal because I'm so unhappy with the whole situation here. Most horrible option is that this guy shoves. That's going to be like the not worst option. But I started up this Phoenix project before this stream. I had like 9% EV adjusted ROI again for 300 games. So all in all in 1.5s I'm having something like 5% EV adjusted ROI now, even though the real results have been between really sucky and still sucky, but well, it happens, it happens. Yay. Don't even know what to say anymore, even though that was a clean flip. And Tanita said that in 1.5 I won 226 buy-ins in the project so far, 1.3k games. Yeah, that's awesome, but I think that you stayed in those a bit too long. And because we are against our worst opponent, we'll need to call with 7-6 off here, even though we know that we are for sure we are not ahead. This is one of the best spots for us that we are having at least like 46%. I'm pretty much like 100 buy-ins under EV in 1.5s already, so pretty much starting to lose the humor there. But what can you do except grind on? I thought that there should be enough games on 3.5s and 7s already. But of course, if you don't have enough games, then just add 1.5s. I just thought that it shouldn't be necessary at that point. Perhaps I overestimated how well the 3.5s are running. Again, getting it in. And now we are finally eliminated from that tournament. This is actually a hand I wanna see from NXP Ninja. How many games do I now have at $1.5 level? 1.4k I think. Yeah, I just was wondering on why I'm seeing you in 1.5s and why I'm seeing you in all of the 1.59 maxes. Yeah, Phoenix rises from the ashes, but I thought that there were already enough burnt ego and money from the last project for the Phoenix to rise again. So Phoenix doesn't need to burn twice before flying once. At least I hope so. Played close to 30 tables of 9 max hypers. That's awesome. Had to close PT4 and play without a HUD. Well, soon you have grinded enough from the games that you can have a better computer that you can afford having PT4 running. Actually, one tip is for PT4, especially if you're having a slow display adapter, is to have all of these HUD blocks to be solid and not have all of these HUD blocks be solid and not transparent, since that's going to lessen the impact on PT4 on your system, and the impact is even better with Hold'em Manager 2. Caleon says that how high 9 max hypers run in stars? 30 max hypers run quite constantly, but there is not enough of them to multi-table pretty much ever. Crap. I think today's stream has been quite high in the crap content, since I just have felt like it. That this has probably been the start of the crap inferno in this set. But even $15 games are something that you pretty much can't multi-table. That there's like, if you play a good evening, you might have 50 of those games that have run that are good. And there are way more there are way more 6 maxes that run. Might have actually been a better as a shove. And Danita said that Ruseman has played 1.1k 30s and 14k 7s to 15s this year. Should say a lot on how well they run. Yeah, I think I agree there. It's pretty nasty, since before Spin and Go's game you could play 15s to 60s of 9 max hypers. You didn't need to add a lot of 6 max hypers. And you also had some $100 games running, but when Spin and Go started, there was like poof. All of the 9 max hypers were pretty much gone after. Like, it did take something like probably 2 weeks that the games ran in a weird way, that the games ran, but they were completely crappy, that there were like 8 regs against each other, 8 or 9 reg games. Like, all of the random players and the players that people generally want to play against were thrown out somewhere else, or were just looking for the spins and not playing the 9 max hypers anymore. And that's something, and that probably carried on for something like 2 or 3 weeks. And then regs noticed that, of course, if we are just playing regs against regs, pretty much only one that wins is going to be Poker Stars. And after that, it has been that just the higher games practically never run. In a way, Poker Stars was really nice, really nicely timed the announcements. Like, they announced the Spin and Goes, and they started Spin and Goes when people were already committed in getting Supernova Elite, and then they ended the Supernova Elite for the next year after the announcement came something like in November, when most of the people were already almost grinded there, or they already had their Supernovas. And And Kalen said that yeah, 66 max hypers probably run still at 60, decently at 60 plus. Yeah, they run. But the 9 maxes are almost completely barren, and even the 6 maxes are. Some of the 6 max lineups are ridiculously tough when you are thinking that you'll need to beat the rake, and you'll need to, first of all, you'll need to beat the rake, and then there will be also that the rewards are not that great anymore. So I think that hypers have suffered a lot with the recent changes, and they are not a game of the future in my opinion. And again, then there might be a question that if they are not the game of the future, why are you playing those? And it's all about the hourly. I still think that the 6 max and 9 max hypers are the game that I'm making the highest hourly at the moment. So as a pro, I'm playing the game that makes the highest hourly and not necessarily about the future. When crap hits the fan and the games go completely unbeatable, or then I'll find a new game, but I don't think that acting hastily that games are going to die, games are going to die, because that's something that people have shouted from the rooftops for probably 15 years, that soon online poker is going to die, but it's still here. Almost all of the games are still profitable. Something like probably Limit Hold'em is something that's pretty not profitable anymore. And now I'm going to start stopping this session since I'm hearing people arriving, so not registering to games anymore. Let's have a like final hurrah. And let's try to open all of the last games that are running. I'll need to check who Unteritok is. And Grey Fox 01 said that will you grind Hearthstone when it hits the fan? Might be. Hearthstone is fun. Hearthstone is a fun game, but it's something that takes up a lot of time. It's also something that I have thought because like how interesting is a Hearthstone game, since there are so many. When you only play one game at a time, or you can even multi-table Hearthstone, like you can play on two different realms at the same time, but still I think that there are just like the games are, all of the games are their own stories, and there are going to be better stories than in poker. So I think like it's an inherently better game to cast than inherently more interesting game to cast than poker. But probably if Hyper Sit and Ghosts are going to die, I'm thinking of probably about Hyper Heads Ups. That's one option. Cash games, PLO. Probably going to stay in poker though, so that's something that's going to probably happen. But the game, that's something that I don't know. What's it going to be after the hypers? Might even be spin and goes, or some structure in a different site like fish parties on micro gaming, since the structure seems to be sensible, rake seems to be sensible. Kauri sucks at how much do you lose? I don't know. That's something that I can honestly say that I don't know right now. I just know that this session is not going to end in the positive note. That's something that I know for sure. Nunteri Tokki, thanks for your nice words and hope you have had fun watching the videos. And if you have watched all the videos, then that's awesome. Since all the videos, that's a long that's a long time. We have something like, or I think we have something like 800 or videos total, and I think I'm in pretty much half of those. So, and like the average video length is going to be probably about 1.5 hours. So probably something like 600 hours to go. That's like four working months if. But that's something that I think also like Hearthstone has an advantage over poker, that it's going to be way harder, for example, for me to like take out interesting games and take out complete interesting games, since there are not that many spots, and even taking out interesting spots in a stream is going to be pretty hard, since I would need to have some system to note down that, and probably it shouldn't even be me that's noting it down, but when there is something noteworthy, it would pretty much need to be crowdsourced, and we just don't have the traffic for that. I'll probably need to check after that who's Unteritokki with looking at my pocket tens and how have they ended. I generally like to know who the Pokerimanians are on the table, since on the stream then I can hide some of the tables from the screen if I'm feeling uncomfortable with it. And I tried to cast a few moments with a delay, and now I think that it just doesn't matter. I just prefer having the option to interact with the audience more than I care, and especially with these 1.5s, like if somebody is trying to cheat, like he's going to probably get an advantage of something like 4 or 5 cents per game. In my expense, I'm valuing it more that I can have a nice discussions, but when we are going to higher buy-ins, it's going to be that I'm going to be more careful with it. More careful with it than trying and adding delay, but at the lowest stakes I think that, and even at the lowest stakes, like if you are watching a stream and trying to watch a stream and cheat, that's probably going to take up more concentration than playing just more tables. So it's not I don't think that it's a good, like I don't think it's a sensible option for most players. I think that this rev limiter that shows 98% complete, I think it has shown just like for our whole set it has shown 98% complete, so takes up quite a long time to fill up. And in this case, like when this guy that has the bronze star has limped and this guy shoves, I think that there will be enough limp calls even if we are slightly ahead of this guy's range. We want to fold, since the spot where these two guys collide is just going to be so huge for our equity. And Unteritokki, yeah, no problem, no worries. If you are who I think you are on your nickname, then I took notice earlier on in the games, but when I saw that I had pocket tens and somebody shoved early on, then I think that I didn't need to worry, since if somebody sees pocket tens and still shoves, It's not going to be the... It pretty much shows that they are not following the stream at the moment. Nice, we split it here. But this Tiekoraddi. Aces, aces, aces. And now he bets, so I think that he's going to have a decent hand here. Two pair. Pretty much can't do anything about it. And Danita said that some bastard is going to stream snipe anyway. Might just want to have this as a more interactive active event, even though somebody is going to stream snipe. Then it's just all about moving those tables out of the way. And I have had some delay when I have played 7s, 15s, 30s, since at those levels it starts to be more real, and also the less players there are on the table, like the probably like if you are playing heads up, you don't want to ever stream without a delay. But with 9 max games, for example, or MTT games, I don't think that it's going to be that important, especially for the early game. But at late game, might be that we are having different ideas on how much the opponents are going to fold. I think that some of those 3-handed shoves from button are not going to be Nash shoves, but I think that they are still going to be plus EV shoves. And usually those have been from spots where I'm having the biggest stack and I can add pressure on my opponents already. Last 4 tables of the session. Now there are good questions on, well, what has been the result for today's session? So what has been the result for today? Now I want to have some good guesses. And first guy that tries to guess something plus that's in the positives, I think that then we have won the Optimist of the Year award, even though it's just June. But basically it's not going to be that what do you think about the results, but it's more about how much do you think that we have lost during this session. Yep. 2 games to go. Caleon thinks about 18 bucks. I think Caleon is being nice. That's something. And it's also like if I would be doing all of this, the whole project on stream, then I would have like 3 minutes of delay on any stake, since then it's going to be more meaningful. But now that I'm just playing less tables and having these kind of funner streams, I think that it's going to be okay. Okay with less tables. And Neo said that I think adjusted should be much better than real results from what I have seen. I'm thinking so as well, that the EV adjusted for this session should be way better than the real results. But I also remember that we have seen, like, we have shoved against aces with a big stack at least 3 times, shoved against kings and queens, and at least like lost 1 big stack pretty early on in the games with the 10 against queens, for example. So I think I think that even EV adjusted for this session is not going to be positive. I think that you guys are all really positive. Like I'm thinking that if we are under minus $50, I'm pretty happy with the session. So like we lost 10 buy-ins in the 3.5s already, so that's like $35 loss already, and I don't think that this has been a winning session even in these 1.5s. That's something that even though we hit it against ace jack, we finally outdrew someone. And in this table, yeah, this is also like getting it against a bigger ace. Pretty much. We did a plus EV choice. Opponent had a better hand. Just register the next one. Yeah, Unteritoki had some good tips in how to punish poker stars or how to get most out of their betting. And it might be that the betting promo is only for Finns or something, but if it's for Finns, then our Finns should have pretty good idea on how to. I'm going to take a peek on the other screen on what's it going to look like. I wonder how many games. I wonder how many games have we had for today, but I think it started. This is going to be way rough. Way rough and way hardcore. I'd say today's stream should have gone a little better. It's pretty much here. So we have one game to go still, and we are at 50, or like if this game ends without receiving money, we are less than 50 bucks in the negative. And as I said, I'm happy if we are less than 50 bucks in the negative. Like that's how I have been feeling here. Pretty rough stretch at the 3.5s. Rough welcome. Just like 14 buy-ins under EV, but meh. Caleon said that so half of the bankroll gone. No. This is how it looks like for today, and I ended my session somewhere around here before I started this stream, and this stream is something like from here. Actually, it starts a bit later since there are some six maxes, so something like this. And it's not like half of the bankroll gone since we were at 190 bucks when we started this stream. So we are at 140 bucks and we are like $10 under what we started. So this is how it has looked like today. I don't know. Like this looks like a train wreck here, like a complete train wreck. But well, just grinding the 1.5s up again. And Kauri said that now you need to say that fuck this fucking run. You don't even have an idea how much I feel like that. You don't have an idea. Now we are getting someone is getting punished now, and we can get quite close to 0 if we just win this game. There is a whip to be cracked. Whip to be cracked. And Calleon said that it's a bad tactic to run into rockets. Yeah, running into rockets, running into better aces, running into higher pocket pairs. Still, EV is positive. And since the first project started, it was just 1 week ago. So, not having a nice start. Not having a nice start at all. In all of these games, so like combined 90 buy-ins under EV in 1.4k games. I think I won the last game, so that's something. Might be that there are some games that haven't been imported correctly since I had the problem with the stars crashing at one moment, so I'll need to check it later on if there is some problem. And also PT4 crashed after PokerStars crashed, so technical difficulties. Marius, is there going to be a third project if you go broke? I'm saying screw that question. I'm not going broke. Like no, not doing that again. I I just don't think that I can run another 1% run. I don't think that I can find another worst 1% run in this project. I just don't think that it can happen. And Neo asked that you have to work on running over EV for the rest of the project. Unfortunately, that's something that you can't affect. Like, you can't affect how much you are running over or under EV in a game. So -$8 or something. Need to check if there is some games that haven't been imported correctly, but let's say that today's stream was, I think that I played really well, but let's say that I wasn't frequently fortunate in the games. So pretty much back to square one. Let's see that if I can get the cashier here. Pretty much back to square one. Back to square one here, so $5 under, but I'm going to get the $12.5 in the bankroll for the after the next 6 points. So after 10 games, I'm going to get the $50 reward. So that's going to be quite nice. I don't know what to say for you guys. That you are saying that you want a third project. You might get a third project if this one is really successful. But I'm not thinking about what happens if I go broke, since I am not going broke. And Calleon said that positive side is that the graph doesn't have any additional zeros. Yep. Of course, I started this month by running something like 30 buy-ins under EV for 15, so already at quite already I'm not that happy about how my month has gone. But winning EV, it will turn at some point. And like total EV has been something like 5% at the 1.5, so it's going to be okay. I think that that's something that should be expected, but Still, could be better. And trying to pretty much end it here, trying to probably play 1 month. No, trying to probably play one session at night today, trying to add like 200, 300 games. And probably the next playing day will be next Monday, so there will be like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All are pretty taken up. Might be that there's a possibility that I could play on Sunday, but I think that the next playing day will be Monday, and after Monday we'll see. We'll see what happens. So the project will continue on Monday. I think Monday it's time to have an English stream. Then there will probably be a Tuesday stream before Calleon's coaching. That should be in Finnish, I think. On Wednesday there should be a Finnish stream, and on Thursday there should be an English stream. And I hope that at that point the project is already completed. So thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for nice comments on chat. Even though I didn't appreciate asking for the next projects, since I don't want to think about going broke in this project. But if you are going to sleep, have a good night. If you are still playing poker, may this be a winning night for you. Bye!